Welcome to the Shenandoah Valley Cooking Show. I really appreciate you joining us today. As always, we're doing something a little different. Sometimes it's unintended, which is what we're doing right now, but we can make it up as we go and we'll make it work. I really appreciate you joining us. Again, Jay Langston with the Shenandoah Valley Partnership. I'd like to introduce Andrea Livick and Kevin Ratliff. Andrea is with the Job Starters program at Blue Ridge Community College, and Kevin wasn't supposed to be here today, but Kathleen Gass, who runs the manufacturing liaison program at Blue Ridge Community College, fell ill today, so the dean, and Kevin and I fortunately know one another, is willing to step in, and he's going to talk about those two different models that we are going to present to you today. In terms of the cooking, I wanted to get this out of the way. You can see the ingredients that I have out before me. We're going to start talking. I'll give you time to get your ingredients together. But if you're going to cook with me, I would go ahead, preheat the oven right now, 350 degrees, and go ahead and separate all of the ingredients that go into this. It's really easy, as you could see from the recipe card. We're going to do it live here in a few minutes, but I thought give you the time to get your stuff together. And by the way, don't be alarmed at the volumes of this. I always do a double batch when I'm making cookies. I just can't help myself. And so yours should not look nearly like this. So with that being said, let me give a little bit of an intro. We're going to be talking about two programs that Blue Ridge Community College is heavily engaged with. The first one of these is a MERC project that we were working in 2019, and Blue Ridge was a major component of us successfully winning this $1 billion project. Which is, of course, huge for here in the Valley. And even though we talk about food and beverage all the time, pharmaceutical is a significant part of our sector. To set the stage with this, it was about talent. No surprise to any of us, right, that are living in this world, and you're dealing with it every day.
Right.
And the MERC plant was interested in some very specialized training opportunities and work opportunities. And with that, I'm just going to kick it over to you, Kevin, because you know some of the background. We got a grant, we created the position, and why don't you tell us about what you did for MERC with JMU that made this project possible.
Right.
James Madison University, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in 2019, MERC was looking to expand one of their lines. It was an HPV line that they wanted to expand, and so they were going to hire a lot of people. So they needed some help, and they were looking to add this line at one of their facilities, and Virginia was competing for that line. There was three states, I think, total that were looking to win that project, and Virginia's legislature got together and appropriated $2.5 million to the education institutions to help align the curriculum and kind of build that talent pool, if you will, for MERC. And so as part of that, we hired a coordinator to develop that. That was Kathleen, and she was a perfect fit because she had the pharmaceutical experience, of course the manufacturing experience, and then the pharmaceutical. Yeah. And then she had worked for MERC, so it was a perfect fit. And so we hired her in, and she began to work with JMU and us and MERC to align the curriculum that would allow us to graduate the students that would then get hired into MERC. And it's been a real good project. She's done a superb job of vetting those students and developing that talent pool and helping the curriculums align. And so we've been really, really proud of that project. I think the initial goal was to hire 152 people for MERC, and I think we're at 180 now. And yeah, so it's been exceptionally successful. So we're really, really proud of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this sounds, as you can imagine, it sounds like an easy thing to do. Simply because there's two independent educational institutions
Oh, yeah.
engaged.
Yes.
And if you didn't catch that, Kevin just rolled his eyes.
Yeah.
You can only imagine. One of the watershed, I guess, moments of this is the fact that JMU and you partner together. A lot of the universities have not been willing to do that, but there are aspects with your facilities and also their degree programs that made this possible.
Right.
And I'm going to do a little bit of bragging on this behalf because I happen to be familiar with the plant manager of there, and he told me that this plant in Elkton is the only program that has a sort of dedicated talent stream that is being prepared for them. So you want to share a minute or two about sort of behind the scenes of what it took to get this to happen and how this matriculates, because it is more complex. Kathleen has spent a lot of time.
Absolutely, it is more complex, and I'll take you a little ways into the depths. Kathleen could take you deeper, but it took a lot of coordination with her and the folks at JMU with their biology program and the biotech folks. And Blue Ridge had just completed a science building that actually had within it several biotechnology suited rooms. So we invested in the equipment and the design work of the building, and JMU and Merck have both been here and visited our facilities and very impressed with what we have here. And very glad that we have that, because that further facilitated the curriculum development. And so Kathleen worked with the instructors at JMU as well as the instructor at Blue Ridge, Reed Harris, to get those curriculums so that they lined up better and that they met exactly what it was that Merck was looking for. In addition to that, there were also some technical professional development things that Merck wanted. And Kathleen's worked with other faculty here at the college to make that happen in kind of in the format of boot camps. So that's also taken place at Merck, and they've been very pleased with that. I think 35 BRCC graduates and 48 JMU graduates up to this point have been hired full-time at Merck. And I think I saw also that JMU was at the top of the hiring list for Merck was at the top of the hiring list for JMU. So they hired more people out of JMU than anybody else last year. So it's a testament to what Kathleen's done with those individuals. It's been a coordination, though. It truly has been a cooperative process that we're just really proud of.
I was in a meeting a couple of weeks ago where I heard Dr. Colvid, Bob Colvid, who is the Dean of the Integrated Sciences and Technology program at JMU, that words that I never thought that I would hear. He said, yes, we have become the operational unit for JMU. And to me, that is a huge win when a four-year institution understands that they have a pipeline that they're providing of talent to our companies in this area. Speaking of which, I want to make a quick segue to Andrea Livick. And I've got to also say, both of these are native Virginians, and Andrea grew up very close to where we're filming this at Blue Ridge Community College. She's in charge of the Job Starter program. And I'm going to let you take it away, because this idea kind of came from somebody close to us. You can read the name off of this, but it's been recreated. And with that, I'll let you take it away, Andrea.
Okay, this stemmed from the grant from the General Assembly in coordination with Merck, and it is supposed to help all of manufacturing, not just for Merck. But the curriculum was designed from an employee who had worked 30 years and retired from Hershey. That's where we get
borrowed the idea.
Yeah. Right. And we went around and we asked the local manufacturing companies what kind of program or what kind of topics they would like taught in the program. It's a 3-week boot camp. We learn the basics of manufacturing, about 8 manufacturing companies are involved in each program. I like to take 16 students. So in a perfect world, each company gets to hire 2 students. But the companies have a hand in this because they pay the stipends. So the students make $15 an hour. They come out with $1,800 and a guaranteed interview from all 8 manufacturing companies. We learn electricity, welding, machining. We help them with a resume, interview skills. It's a great program. This last one just ended on Friday. I've been getting texts all day long. Daikin was the winner this time. They got the most students, but the companies have been very supportive. I've had to turn down students now. The word of mouth is getting this program around. Companies are coming to me and asking me to be part of the program. So it's been very successful. I truly believe in the mission of the Job Starter program.
I love that story. We're going to explore both of these a little more here, but I think we've used up enough time. Hopefully you have all of your ingredients together, and we're going to start the fun part of, well, it's all fun in talking about talent attraction and retention. I get that. But we're going to go right into the cookies. And so if you want to cook along with me, we're going to get started now, and we're going to follow the recipe. You'll notice that I do a few things probably differently than what is printed, but that's only because I have my beloved KitchenAid here with me. So, so with this, we're going to start with, I love the basic ingredients first. It's going to be the butter. And I tell you what, I'm going to remove this so I don't put it all over the table, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the butter. And yes, y'all can get your hands on it and just put it out of the way, anywhere. The brown sugar. And again, I'm making a double batch, so again, don't let the volume of the ingredients surprise you. Granulated sugar here. I always feel like I know what I'm doing when I've got these little separate things, because this is not the way it looks at home when I do that. The vanilla. And the eggs. Do either of y'all bake or do anything? I didn't think about even asking that.
Can bake toast.
I guess that qualifies. Talking about in the talent side of things, one of the reasons that I think I've gotten into this, and I don't know if y'all do any of the culinary stuff in the area, but I find that, the baking side of things, it's chemistry.
Yes.
Yep. You're not taking a vegetable or something along those lines and, seasoning it. You're actually taking raw ingredients and making something new. And yes, you can see from my spatula, I kind of live what I talk here. So after I put all of these basics in, we'll go ahead and stir it. And this is going to be stirred well. So in other words, go ahead and get this done now. I was too busy talking. I didn't hear the answer. Do you have any culinary programs? But no one.
The Mountain Gateway has the culinary program, and we've tried to support them by sending our students with the gen eds down there. So, yeah, we've done a little cooking show or cooking class here and there on the continuing ed side, but not anything credit-wise.
Okay, and my blender, it is already mixed up really well. So I'm going to go ahead and now put in the dry ingredients. Lots of flour, and yes, I will probably create a cloud here in a minute. But I do it this way at home also. I go ahead and just throw it all in at one time. Let me lower this first, or there may be a real cloud. The cocoa in next. Thank you. Cornstarch and the baking soda. Love simple recipes. Thank you, Andrea. And I'm going to start this low before I raise it up. And if you're using a hand mixer, you can do this more delicately probably, as you can see. And then I'm just going to blend it in slowly so that we don't disappear into a big cloud of flour and cocoa dust. Still getting some. Here now it's starting to really mix. And you know, this is Hershey cocoa powder. We're going to be using Hershey chips. Yes, I've got to get in all of our local companies here. And now it is all starting to clump together. And really, as soon as it gets completely clumped together, I'm going to add in the final ingredients. You notice also that on the recipe, it calls for salt. I didn't use salt. I used salted butter instead. Is it equal? Nah, I'm not so sure. I've never had a problem though, personally, if it calls for unsalted butter and then salt later in a recipe. I just use salted butter and skip the salt. That's me. I'll allow you to do what you think works best. Okay, here, I'll just show you that. Thank you, Carlton, that's a perfect shot. That's what it should look like now. And then I am going to add in the maraschino cherries. And you notice all this, bear with us. This is the part of doing a live production. You just never know what's going to happen from minute to minute. Okay, I've put all of the ingredients in here, and now I'm just going to mix them all in. I did not cut up my cherries because as the beater on this works, it's going to take care of that. And fortunately, it doesn't take long. And Andrea asked me where I got this recipe from. This is not one of my personal recipes that I created. This came from Jen Weaver, my administrative manager, who will not get on the program, but she's sitting over here watching. Make sure I do everything correctly. And that's it. It is now ready to remove and to put on the cookie sheets. And I'm not going to ask you to get your hands all in the midst of this. I'll do, but this is the consistency. This is the way I love seeing the batter. And so I am not going to waste your time of filling an entire cookie sheet, but I will show you how I go about, doing this. And it's nothing sophisticated. I do not use a cookie scoop to make mine all pretty. I'm not that worried about how the cookie looks. I'm always concerned about how it tastes. So I know I'm off screen now, but let me get my cookie sheet, which is behind me. And I will set this spatula aside. And the way I always make mine is I take a scoop, large spoon, and basically grab up, it says 2 tablespoons in the recipe. This is close enough. Take it and just roll it out. And I've got everything right in the way and place it like that on the cookie sheet. And I will do this several times. This is a stickier dough than some, so you can see I'm coating myself pretty well with this. This would look really good on your white shirt, Kevin. We're both attending the same banquet tonight. You can see he came to work prepared for this. I came to work today knowing that I could probably do a good job of spreading this all over my suit coat or white shirt. And I will get this here. since we're not going to fill it completely, I'll do a few more. Andrea, you were talking about your program. This was the 4th cohort, correct?
Correct.
And before we actually got started, you were talking about where some of the students were coming from and some of the companies that were interested. Why don't you talk about that while I finish this up?
This last round we had Ball Aluminum, Advanced Aluminum, we had Berry Global, we have some regulars, we have Cadence, Regal, Rexnord, and Dynamic Aviation. They do it every single time. They said we're in until we say stop. We had Daikin. They came back. They did the first one, and then they joined us again for this last one.
You keep talking while I clean my hands.
Okay. We've had Accutech. We had Farmer Focus. That was a diverse company this time, and solely organic.
You might tell them what some of these companies do as well.
They all make every company. We go on a plant tour. Within 3 weeks, we're jammed with stuff to do. Besides the classes that they take, we go on plant tour of every single one of them, and we do find out what they make. Berry is gears, plastics. I'm getting them. I've gone on so many tours, I can't even remember all of them. But that's where the students really can tell whether they're going to be a good fit for that company. The tour tells a lot, and these companies have gone all out.
Putting them in the oven.
They've gone really all out on these tours, showing them. We get a question and answer time. We get the actual plant physical tour. They do a presentation at the beginning. When the students leave, they know whether they want that company or not. So it's a great 3-week program to help them get employed.
And at the end, I was going to add to that, Andrea, that at the end of the program, they have interviews with all of these companies. And so sometimes these students get more than one job offer, and so they are able to pick which company that they want to go to work for. But just to kind of add on, the Job Starter program is kind of adjunct to the MERC project, because one of the goals of the MERC project was to, initially to focus on MERC and help them with their recruitment needs, and then it was to turn about face to the other manufacturing companies in the Valley and to assist them in similar ways. And our project with MERC was so successful, we were doing such a good job that we had companies reaching out before we were able to turn around to them and then ask, can we be part of this, you know? And so that's when Job Starter was created, and it's really been a recruitment tool for those companies to get the employees that they need. And it's been a great thing for community members to take a program and learn about manufacturing and then get into that world. So,
I want to follow up with a couple of things you both said there. First, I did forget to mention something. If you have a question and you want to get it down while we're live, send your question to info@theshenandoahvalley.com. That's our general, SVP email, but we can try to answer it now or later. Since this is YouTube Live, it's a little bit of different platform than Zoom, but you go back to both of your conversations. You're responding to the needs of the manufacturing environment here, but the model transcends just one sector. And it's what I think is really good about what you're doing too. It also transcends the level of skill sets needed for the manufacturers. I mean, I'll let y'all talk about that. I think you see where I'm going with that.
It is just
question.
it is designed for manufacturing, but it is manufacturing is one of the biggest industries in this area. Actually, one of the biggest in the country. And a lot of these students just do not know how big it is. I didn't know. I grew up here. I didn't know about all of these plants. So a lot of this is exposure and just learning that they're great welding jobs, they're great machining jobs. Mm-hmm. And all of these companies want to send the students back to get more education here at Blue Ridge or any other college to help develop their skills to continue on. So it's just, it's an alternate path to get their further education while they're working.
That is one of the things that I remember. We did a podcast earlier, I guess it was late last year at some point. Time's getting away from me.
In the fall.
In the fall. Okay, it's further than I remember. But we talked about that. This has become, not the right words, not a revenue stream, but it has become a portal for students to come back to Blue Ridge, isn't it? With the Job Starter in particular, that you're sending them to the community and they're coming back. You want to talk about?
Right. I've had a good success story with one of my job starters. I think it was my first job starter when I got here. She got multiple offers, started at one company, another company recruited her away from there, and offered to pay for her education while she's going to school and work around her schedule. So I would see her out in the parking lot. She'd be coming to school, then she would go to work and maybe come back to school. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity for the students who want to go back to school as well.
And we talk to them at the graduation ceremony at the end of the 3 weeks, and we tell them, look, this is the start for you, and don't forget, you can always come back and take additional training and whatever specialty you're looking at. Andrea's program covers a large gamut of manufacturing related topics, from welding, machining, manufacturing tools. I mean, safety. It covers just a lot of different areas. And so we talk to those students, about this just being the beginning, and that your employer will gladly help you further your education and come into other areas. So it really is a launching point.
It is.
Yeah.
You have won an award. The Blue Ridge has won an award for the Job Starter program, and we're very proud of that. Obviously, I'm proud of it. I talk about the program all the time because one of the things I think it is you call it the stackable programs, in degrees, but it is filling a niche that really wasn't here before in many ways, that educational component, and them getting that real life, what's it like in a manufacturing environment. And the manufacturing environments are so different because we do have a diversity of manufacturers here. Yes, food and beverage is predominant, but all of those companies still need the maintenance and technical side, the welding, the machining, and so forth, and so forth. Kevin, where do you think we can take the Merck model? I know there's been some interest. It's more complicated than just a basics course because you're having to integrate with the GREED programs and the programs that you have here. Where would you like to see this? Because I know that JMU, your partner in this, wants this to continue. They have now seen the positive feedback from this program.
We've talked to JMU quite a bit about trying to, again, massage our manufacturing program to the point where it could actually become a transfer degree. Those students can transfer on and continue at JMU. But one of the things that Kathleen is hearing quite a bit out in the manufacturing world in our area is that they need more help with automation. And so we're hearing that quite a bit, and trying to push that out to our faculty here at the college to think about how can we modify what we have and make it more of an automation kind of program. And so Kathleen is starting to work with some of the faculty here to do that. Another area that we're looking to improve upon here at the college is our machining program. We're getting a lot of interest from employers, manufacturers that need machinists. And in particular, they came to us and said, could you tweak your program to add some more CNC kinds of machining classes? And so we have taken a hard look at what can we do. We have a machining program, but they want more. So we've been meeting with them regularly to modify that machining curriculum. And we actually have getting ready to work with NOCTI Solutions, NOCTI Business Solutions, to help create assessments for the modules that we've looked at creating. And we're doing this in conjunction with those manufacturers. So they're in the room with us, and we're talking to them about here's what we've got, here's what we think we want to move towards with you, what we understand your need is. And it's CNC related, which is really automation. You know, if you think about
Right.
it, there's this very
Right.
strong tie-in there. And so we're looking forward to continue to work with them. I guess in a nutshell, if we had to boil all this down, it really boils down to the fact that we collaborate really well here in the Valley. I mean, you look at the employers, you look at the universities, the community colleges. We have really good relationships. Jay does a great job of coordinating all of us and helping us to see the big picture. And so Valley's a great place to be, and a great place to learn, great place to work.
Thanks for the testimonial. No, I did not pay for that, but I appreciate it very much. But it is true that we have some programs here that work very well together. The Virginia Ready program, who is almost like a precursor to the Job Starter in many ways, and a student can go through. I totally, a little bit left field question, but I'm interested if your companies, particularly the manufacturing side, are interested in the IT, the cyber portion of that because of what you just talked about. Sort of all of the automation is involved. Are you seeing that in the Job Starter program? Are you seeing it also with, like, for Merck, particularly in the pharmaceuticals, how important this is? And if I'm totally off base, you can tell everybody, stop.
Actually, you are, but you're not. We haven't really heard from the manufacturers, about a keen interest in cyber technicians or cybersecurity analysts. But we do have a cybersecurity program that has become very popular with a lot of the smaller businesses in the area. Yeah. And we've even attracted businesses in the area due to that program. Dan O'Brien is the coordinator of that. Yes. Done a fantastic job. Dan's worked in IT in Northern Virginia. He knows the game. He understands what the need is there, and he's helping us to develop that out and to look at other options. Amazon Web Services is another credential that we're starting to offer. JavaScript coding is something that we've been offering recently, and but the cybersecurity stuff that Dan has been heading up, and a core component of that is the CompTIA Security Plus certification. But that's a popular program, and we're getting graduates in it, and they're graduating starting $55,000 a year in that. So we're real excited about what Dan has brought to the table, and is what he's helping us to grow too. So yeah, absolutely. In terms of the manufacturers, I don't know that we've heard anything in particular.
I haven't.
Yeah, from them.
It's entry level. They want people on the line with the machines, welding, line assembly. So not as much cyber for me.
Yeah. I was interested in, I can see some of these people possibly coming back for
exactly
for that sort of thing. I'll ask you the same question. Where do you think Job Starter is going?
I would like to see it get fast forward, and have an industry certification behind it, so the companies don't have to pay as much as they're paying.
Describe the Fast Forward program, because most of our audience is, well, I don't think
Right.
any of our audience is based here in Virginia.
Right.
So, I'll not even try to give an overview. I'll let you just take it away.
So the Fast Forward program is a program that the state of Virginia sponsored. It's been 7 years ago now, and basically what it boils down to is the state of Virginia recognized the need for credential-based learning in Virginia, and the need to support it financially. We have a strong credit program here at the college, obviously, and that receives a lot of federal financial aid. Students coming in, there's the financial burden is just not as great if they can get support. On the non-credit side, where we did do the credential training, that support wasn't there. And so we had a vice chancellor of workforce development that created a budget program and presented it to the General Assembly, and they bid on it and they started funding it. And so basically it boils down to a student comes into our registration office and they register for one of these credential-based programs. If they are a Virginia resident, they receive a two-thirds discount, tuition discount off the top. Then they just have to pay for 1/3 of the cost of the tuition. And so that program has been a real boon to our non-credit credential-based programs, and really lowering the barrier to help the students to access them. In addition to that, the state has also supported those students for the cost of the 1/3 if they can show financial need. And so in many cases, and the bar is really low, you really have to have a really strong salary to not be eligible for that. And so I'd say 80 to 90% of our students are getting those credential-based programs almost for free. So
it's exciting for us, and to let you know, for those of you who may not have attended one of these and not heard me talking about the talent side, it's so crucial for us because manufacturing is our largest private sector employment base in the Valley, even exceeding that of the healthcare, which is obviously number 2 in this regard. And we are so focused on the talent, providing the talent for our manufacturers to continue to grow here.
Right.
And yes, we're experiencing the talent crunch like everyone else.
Yes.
That is one of the things that we are focused on. SVP is going to be trying to market these programs even better. So yes, we work together on a lot of different things, but what you cannot do sometimes is the actual marketing and education of these programs.
Exactly.
That's where we come into play, I feel, and we're excited about doing that. Let me check on my time coming up for this. Are we ready? Okay, I will get back to, and I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you, I think we put it in the recipe, 8 to 10 minutes. I always do 9 and it works perfect, and they're coming out of the oven now. Yours should be doing the same thing, and I will get those in just a second. We have 3,100 unfilled manufacturing jobs still in the Valley, and our opportunity is to capture many of our younger talent, which is what I think you're doing in many ways. To do that, particularly you and your fellow community college peers that cover in our area. Any final words?
So, along that line, so as
while
part
you
of,
talk, I'm going
okay,
to
sure. So as part of the Merck grant, there is a component of that we wanted to market biotechnology to our high school population in the region. And so Kathleen has developed biotechnology camps for those students to attend. And so we had 2 summer camps last year. We just finished up a camp just a week or so ago, and that ran for 3 Saturdays, and it was full. And we have another summer biotech camp coming up. So to your point, I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is catch those students before they graduate and let them know of the opportunity. The summer class just filled up within 24 hours. It was so popular. So we're really excited about what the future holds for that and being able to tap into that population.
I think that's a great idea. You mentioned the partnership with Dynamic Aviation. We actually did one of our cooking shows where we actually made metal planes there, but they are an integral part of this sort of model of capturing the kids early. And I know that you work very closely with them. They are an extremely important partner. And I guess, I was washing my hands and so forth when I left you to talk to this, but one of the things that I think is a strength, but it's also the opportunity, is having our businesses at the table with us telling the story.
Right.
I'll let you if you want to expand about that.
The front cover of our magazine, that's Dynamic Aviation in their 4 job starters. They've participated every single time they hire someone. When we go there on our plant tour, they have the former job starters come and walk around with us. We even had our job starter come on interview day and sit there and participate in that process. So they've been great supporters. Regal Rexnord, Cadence, they've been with us the entire time as well. It's been great. Yep. And we also have, I wanted to plug for getting the younger students. We go, Blue Ridge has career coaches that are in each of the high schools, and they've been really good at promoting the programs to the graduating seniors. So I just got 2 seniors who I'm sure are going to get hired. They are graduating this in May, and they did the program because they were done with all of their credit classes, which was really nice. Yeah, proud of them.
That's a nice story. I've got a personal story along those same regards. My oldest son is also graduating from JMU, but he in the adult degree program, but he's getting his welding certifications.
Oh, wow.
At the same time, he is graduating this semester. He's already getting job offers before he can even get out of school. And I know that you see that same thing.
Yeah.
So those kinds of skills, and I'm already jealous in some ways. You know, I had to hunt for a job when I got out of college. Yeah, he's not having to worry about that at all.
No.
But that's part of the story. One of the things, I will wrap up this portion by saying we understand the talent issues that we're facing, the state's facing, the country is facing. I'm very fortunate to have partners who work with our Workforce Development Board, work with our universities, vice versa, working with the community college. We have the technical centers here. We have the high schools who are really engaged with that. Do we have the complete answer? Absolutely not. But I'm very fortunate to have partners like Blue Ridge Community College, and thanks for hosting us here, because they actually allow us to use their campus like a second home. All of the time we are here for meetings and those functions, and we really appreciate your integration both in what we do in economic development, but what you're also doing for the community.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, glad to be
too.
part of that. Yeah. Thank you for having us here today.
Helping us market. Yes.
Yes, this is the story when we want to get out.
Yes.
I will wrap up, and I don't think you mind if we probably end a few minutes early, because the gift of time, I know, is something that we could probably all use. Here are the cookies. Now, technically, you should be taking them at about this point. This has probably been 2 or 3 minutes since I got them out of the oven and sat them here. Put them on cookie sheets, or you can be lazy like I do a lot of times and just leave them right here and let them cool this way. And these are cookies that are just going to get better the longer you keep them, if you can stay out of them and not eat them all, because that cherry and the chocolate flavor is really going to blend in. These are also great if you like putting them in the refrigerator and keeping them cold, or if you don't even want to bake it right now, you can put it in the refrigerator and the batter will stay for a while before doing that. But it's a favorite. It is we thought a great tie-in with President's Day. Yes, I know we stretched a little on that, but it doesn't matter. It was a good excuse. And we hope you enjoyed the program. We are very fortunate to have great partners, and what the SVP intends to do is to help communicate to our community the various programs that we have here, be that connector, because you collaborate very well with all of your other peer partners in here. We just now need to get the news out, because we're going to retain our talent as much as possible.
Right.
Yep. Thank you. If you have any questions of us, please feel free to contact me. I really appreciate you joining us today, and we will be doing another cooking class later this year. I think we're planned for May, and stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about infrastructure. It's on everybody's mind, just along with the talent as well. So we wish you a good day, and I hope you love the cookies. Bye.